Good morning, Patriot fam. Happy We the People Wednesday.
Mm.
This is Ali Lachey with Michelle Posey, and we are on Open Mic Ladies Live today on Patriot.tv and Rumble and Spotify and YouTube and all the other
All the
places that you can find
places.
us. So thank you guys for joining us today.
Thank you for joining us, guys. We were just telling our production team it might be a little bit like fire today because there's just some things that I don't know.
Bro.
We're figuring it out, and we're figuring out in a way that we can help you figure it out. And then we're like, but you can't explain corruption because you got to have like an evil, intentive heart to do that. And
We
I
would
don't know
have
how
to
you
have
explain it.
like a whole hour just on one portion that
One person's
that we're
name.
gonna talk about today. And I literally, Michelle and I were on the phone for like a half hour discussing this because we're trying to figure out how to like bring it down to like a 2 minute conversation, and it's hard to do.
Well, and
Uh,
that's why I'll just let our viewers know, we've got a lot of updates coming to you in the first half of the hour after the commercial break. We will largely spend a lot of time going over, showing clips of what took place last night as the House, we thought they were going to censure Plaskett, a Democrat. We'll give
Rightfully
you all
so.
that
She should
information
have
later.
been.
Yeah, and let's, you know what, we're not afraid to have the big girl discussions here in this room and on this platform. So we're going to talk to you a lot about why the swamp runs deep on both sides, and we have to face that as the American public. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they said, see, this is why it was after a school board meeting. This is why I don't register as Democrat or Republican because I have issues with both sides. But in a state like Florida, you have to declare
Yeah.
in order to vote in the primary. And I'm like, why do we miss this as Republicans? Why do we miss this? We have disenfranchised people all across our state, all across our nation. You want to win an election? Start doing what you say you're going to do. Oh, see, look, we're already
See,
starting.
look, see, you see what I'm saying? That's a whole other hour show. Like it's just there's so many topics that we need to go deep dive into in order for people to properly understand why
Mm,
we are where we are. And if we don't get our act together, we're gonna not get to where we want to go. And I
absolutely.
think that's the purpose. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll do another off show and we'll just discuss that, or
Yeah.
the other onesies and twosies here's and there where there's
Continue with
just
that open mic.
specials,
Absolutely.
right? But
Guys,
we'll see.
make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Share this because it's about to get real. We're going to open that mic. Here we go.
Taking back our freedom, back to where we started. We're wearing our red hat tonight. It takes more than just a feeling. Oh, better be believing, and America's gonna be home.
What do you do when they try to cancel you? MAGA Nation, we cancel proof. My red hat stays on. My red hat stays on. You know I love God, but in Trump I trust. November 5th, he gon' ride with us. Our red hat stays on. Our red hat stays on. It's the mayor of MAGAville, the RNC King. 2024, freedom gon' ring. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. I'm still fighting for each one of you. And keep your red hat on.
What do you do when they come for you? Freedom's what you gotta lose. Red hat stays on. Red hat
Sorry.
stays on. What do you do when the gas is high?
Allie.
Yeah, it's all good. Oh, you have your FAFO hat on? I was gonna wear dark MAGA, but I think it's in my closet. I don't have it
I'm
down
just
here.
done.
And my FAFO hat is in my car
I'm done.
because I put it in my windshield because that's how FAFO I am.
I look a little vato.
Vato. Hey, chola.
I could be Jenny from the block.
Hey, chola.
Oh, I can't. She's Puerto Rican. I'm Mexican. Anyway, welcome to Open Mic, guys. We've got
Same
a
mom,
lot
different
to
dads.
cover. Yesterday, we had sort of a different, I guess, a different platform than what we normally use here. We showed you a
Hello? Am I still on? Did we lose Shell? Oh my. Oh, see, we have not done this in so long. I don't even have the agenda up, you guys, because I leaned so heavily on her. I didn't even know where she was going. Good Lord. All right, y'all. We are experiencing some technical difficulties here. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this agenda up real fast. Oh, I'm getting text messages. Oh, no, that's a guest studio on Friday. Okay, no, all right. Well, so we did, I don't know if you guys saw our episode yesterday, but we aired an interview with the Scottish Korean who essentially has been threatened by radical Islamists while he's been living in the UK. Got on a show, Skynet, I believe, and was essentially censored from that show because he showed up with bacon on his collar, and he called out the radical Islamists for who they are, essentially. And he went back to the UK, I believe it was yesterday, and ended up being arrested for simply speaking about what he was experiencing and the information he has found. Check this out. It doesn't have audio here. You can hear a little
Ryan,
bit, but
what's going on? Can I go with them in French? Why is that? What's going on here? They let you out?
Yeah, but look, terrorism, Schedule 7.
But what did you actually do for them to suspect that?
They said it's because of my social media posts.
They can take their Sharia law and shove out.
There's only one culture that pours acid on women's faces.
So yeah, for
Against mass migration and Islam?
exactly. So I had to give them all my passwords for my phone, all my passwords for my social media, all my laptop. They've taken all my phones, laptop, everything, banking, everything. I was saying the truth that Prophet Muhammad slept with a 9-year-old and married a 6-year-old, which makes him a pedophile. So that's what I was saying. And now I'm getting investigated for terrorism. This is way worse than I could ever have thought. I thought I'd just be a normal criminal, like being done for hate speech, but I don't want to get done for being a terrorist. That's something different. So
I mean, the consequences are more severe.
yeah, well, if I go to jail for being a terrorist, that's a lot worse than just hate speech.
wow.
Sorry about that disruption here. Gotta love when we're covering a heavy topic and then your feed is throttled. What? Yeah. So having the Scottish Korean on yesterday, and then yesterday, actually in real time, he's traveling, and he gets apprehended and detained and labeled a terrorist.
What are your thoughts on that? Like, how do you?
Well, I
mean,
remember
to
when
me, it reminds me of J6.
Yes, well, and so that's why, I've had people say, listen, this is the UK. This is not happening here. Well, okay, we've got precursors in this country, and 90% of what's taken place in the UK has also found its way years later to America. So we look across the pond to see what could potentially be coming, Allie, and asking how I feel about this. I mean, he said it himself when he was here, labeling him a terrorist. I mean, is no different than labeling moms terrorists at school board meetings.
Exactly. And then hold on. What do you mean this isn't happening here? We literally saw people being arrested on beaches for simply walking without wearing a mask in open air with no one else around. What do you mean? That happened. That occurred. And it was literally every time somebody brought up COVID or the COVID debacle or the COVID situation at the school board meeting yesterday, it was like, oh, that's all you heard was gaffes from the left. And we're like, y'all caused this. There was literally a hotline for you to report people in Orlando, Florida.
And we've said it. It's the great experiment, right? Like women, women of this century and of these days, nobody's going to tell us what to do, blah, blah, blah. Women's rights. I mean, we're for women's rights, but give me a break. We have women's rights. And then you go and say, I'll never cover my face. You'll never implement Sharia law here. They went,
a pedophile.
Enter a virus that only kills 0.02% of people. Let's see if these women will cover their face. You know what? They'll do it, and they'll paint Biden over it. I mean, they had no problem with it. So it was an experiment.
Right. How fast the mind forgets things.
So Ryan Williams, as I understand, he is out on bail on what I don't know what they call it over there. Is that correct, or is he still?
No, it looked like he was out. They're just doing the investigation.
And we will have him on again. A lot of what he said yesterday struck people, largely not our audience, as controversial because, he's just coming out and talking about the facts of the foundation of one of our world religions that people choose to practice. And you should be able to talk about these things. People talk about Christianity all the time.
And he's
Judaism.
talked about it because he's read it and he's done the research on it. And so if you want to understand what he's talking about, do your research and actually so that you can have an actual conversation about it and it's not just talking points.
Absolutely. And Allie, I think it's worth talking about because what we saw happen over in the UK largely, we were just having this conversation with our producer and tech staff here, is they would not prosecute people who were raping in gang raping young women over in the UK because the cry was that in this religion, they view anybody who doesn't believe like them as an infidel, including women. And so to go into these communities and now hold these rapists and really terrorists accountable, it seemed like it was hurt speech and it was hurtful, and we can't do that. And so a lot of families and reporters were silenced in trying to report this in the UK. So fast forward to here, what happens when we make complaints about illegal immigration and gangs that are here that have killed people like Lake and Riley? What happens to us? We get called racist. We get called hate speech, even though we're both Latina, and we get told, you know, that. Oh, girl.
Hi, how you doing?
I know. So you can't tell me that it's a one-off in UK and it's not somehow pertinent here. We need to be on with our head on a swivel on what's going on, literally from coast to coast. And our prayers are with Ryan today. And I hope that. I mean, some people would say maybe he should just come to this country where we don't do that. But then who's going to fight for the UK? Stay and fight.
I don't know. I mean, well, everybody that was trying to fight for England fled to America. So
yeah, absolutely.
and everyone that is trying to quote unquote fight for their states, their communist, corrupt, Democrat, socialist, oppressive states have fled to Florida and Texas. So I don't know where all these fighting people are at because they keep fleeing. They're not fighting.
It's called retreat.
Right.
Right. Let's not retreat, right? Oh my gosh.
Really bothers me.
So Tom Homan has expressed, we were talking here on this show, one of the few that still talk about the 500,000 children that were lost under the Biden administration. I do say Biden, you heard that correct, because they left the border wide open and they were more concerned with optics of getting people through the border and away from the border as quickly as possible, that they forgot to largely do their due diligence and vet the sponsors that these young unaccompanied minors were going to. Listen to Tom Homan talk about the numbers already within the first year that Trump is under his administration and guidance that they are finding these children. Take a look.
Police out there enforcing the law. We're taking really bad guys off the street. And the whole pinata thing, I mean, that is a good example of the weakness and the cowardice of the left. I mean, they wouldn't come at an ICE officer with a bat because it'd be a bad day for the person holding that bat. So it's just over and over again. They want to attack ICE. They want to throw all these false narratives. Bottom line is ICE is protecting their communities. And all these people, where were they when President Obama was president and ICE removed 409,000 people was a record at the time? Where were they? Where were they when 500,000 children were smuggling this country and they lost track of 300,000 of them? You know what President Trump has done? I was with HHS today, Jesse. We've already found over 30,000 of these kids. You know, like 3 weeks ago, we're at 24,000. Now we're over 30,000. Wow. And we're going to keep working until we find every one of these kids. President Trump saving lives every day. Most secure border in the history of the nation. Less fentanyl killing Americans. Less sex trafficking women and children. And we're finding children that Biden administration wasn't even looking for. And we're the bad guys. It's disgusting.
It is disgusting. I love that he says it the way it is. And you know what's further disgusting, guys? Because I know what you're thinking. We're preaching to the choir out here, our viewers largely. Who would be these people that don't want ICE to come through and clean up the streets, that don't want ICE to come through and do their job and apprehend people that are here illegally, criminally, illegally, and look for these children?
Ask it.
Who?
See,
well, I'm going to tell you.
This is the question that everybody needs to ask when big stories hit is who best benefits? Who best benefits? Who's being sacrificed and who's being protected? Go ahead, girl.
I love it. You're right. Ask the question. People shouldn't be offended by questions. You're absolutely right, Allie. Well, I'm going to tell you. In Charlotte, North Carolina, remember, that is the place where that Ukrainian refugee was slain with really not much outcry from the local community. Kind of interesting. But Charlotte, North Carolina, a church in Charlotte, North Carolina, apparently is having these vigils where they're giving out information to train people on how to push back against ICE and border agents. Don't believe my word for it. Take a look.
And then they'll be in a signal chat during your shift, and we're asking you to please post the details in the signal chat.
This is not a church service. This is a training being run by Siembra, North Carolina. It's called Safe to Work, Safe to School. All those people are here because they do not want Donald Trump's masked armed federal agents on the streets of Charlotte. They watched what happened in LA, they watched what happened in Chicago, and they're all here to be trained about how to get their neighbors and their friends and their coworkers safely to work and safely to school to push back on the Trump administration on what they are doing. It's a Monday night. We are at the Dilworth United Methodist Church in Charlotte, and the turnout is incredible. I'm going to show you again.
Aiding and abetting criminals.
Yep.
All of them.
Bring it back.
Guilty. Aiding and abetting criminals. That's what this is. And sex traffickers and human slave owners.
You know why I think the right, I'm sorry, do you know why I think the left largely does not have independent journalists?
Why?
Because they put their foot in their mouth. This guy, I think, I could be wrong, but the way he's presenting it sounded to me like he was like, they have a fantastic turnout. Like maybe just saying, they don't like this. They want people to get to work safe and get to school safe. He's painting it under that umbrella. And what did he just let us know? That it's happening. And right?
I'm glad he did it. I'm glad he.
This is why they don't go off the narrative. This is why they stick to the script.
I hope he was actually trying to inform us that was really the case.
I hope so.
They're aiding and abetting criminals. But maybe not. Maybe he is a left report. Who cares at this point? Trump, send in reinforcements, please.
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely. Majority of Americans are still behind you. And listen, Allie, going back to our Mr. Bacon story.
Big bacon. Hashtag
big bacon. Big bacon is what he said. I remember I was like, sir, I can't call you that. I don't think that's appropriate. But we saw in Dearborn, Michigan, we reported it last week that we had, obviously that in Dearborn, Michigan, guys, it's one of the few areas of the country where they will do the Islamic call to prayer.
Call to prayer 5 times a day.
I mean, publicly, like blast over speakers. We have noise ordinances
in their 40 nations.
Well, and in a lot of our areas that we live, we have sound ordinances. I don't know how about Dearborn, Michigan. So people who believe in Christianity and largely other religions that don't align with Islam have decided to kind of make their voices heard in Dearborn, Michigan. Like, well, we live here too, and we should be allowed to not have to listen to the call to prayer over loudspeakers. Feel free to pray if you want to, but it's not been a peaceful clash, from what I understand. I'm going to give you a little bit of a warning here on some of the language, and we'll just play a portion of this. This is part of what's happening in Dearborn, Michigan last night. We'll bring it back, Krista, because it just continues more. So you've got on the verge of really some clashes there in Dearborn, Michigan. It's pro versus anti-Islam protesters. Here's the issue, and we saw this in Seattle as well, Allie, that the police department is, in this case, is a majority Muslim. So you wonder if they will uphold the law accurately for both, because we saw in Portland, I'm sorry, not Seattle, Portland, that even Chad Caton and others were reporting, Allie, that majority of the police there, or some in the police, were very much affected by Antifa, and they weren't always very fair.
Well, that's because they have been given incentive, I guess, to hold the hands with Antifa. It's crazy, absolutely crazy.
Yeah. What do you think about what's taking place in Dearborn?
I think that there's going to be a rise up of Christians, protecting themselves, and Americans protecting America. I think that, what we're seeing currently take place is egregious. It's wild. We're seeing these radicals come in and they want to completely dismantle everything we've built, and it's not okay. It's not okay.
And meanwhile, we are seeing the large mass killing of Christians in areas like Nigeria. A very odd person speaking to the UN. You sent this to me, Allie. Why don't you go ahead and set this up?
Which one? Oh, Nicki Minaj. Okay, I love Nicki Minaj. She's amazing. I like her music, but she has been very outspoken about Christians being slaughtered in Nigeria, and she actually went to speak at the UN. This is a great way to, just use her platform to not to amplify something that is very close to her heart. So let's check out this video.
Ambassador Mike Waltz here with the amazing Queen of Rap, Nicki Minaj, and I just can't be more thankful to you for putting your spotlight on the persecution, the killing, the devastation that's going on with Christians in Nigeria. The president called it out. Nicki, you've called it out, and then we invited you here to the UN to learn more and to see what we can do to stop this genocide.
Did, and I am, like I said before many times, I'm honored that you even thought that I would be worthy to be in this caliber of a place, because I never thought I would go from rapping to being here, but I'm so happy and proud, and I'm happy that I can speak for Christians, and I will continue to speak for anyone that I feel needs my voice if they are being persecuted. And right now, I'm just wanting to let all of my Nigerian barbs, even if they live in the U.S., I want to let you guys know I love you, and thank you for your stories that made me understand more what was going on. And I will continue lending my voice. I hope to see more of you guys lending your voices to it. And
we can bring it back, Krista.
Let's do the right thing like before.
So, I mean, there you have it. People might have something unique to say about that, but I think it's pretty amazing when somebody like Nicki Minaj uses her platform for something good, the exposure of what's taking place in Nigeria, and being able to speak in front of the UN. It might fall on deaf ears, but grateful for what she's doing. Allie, I want to pivot real quickly to the organization we've talked about a lot on this show, CAIR, C-A-I-R, CAIR standing for the Council on American Islamic Relations. Sounds harmless enough, but what they're doing, what CAIR is doing in this country, is they are building a platform to be able to push candidates forward in city races, school board races, county races, mayoral races, you name it. Take a look at what CAIR is doing now. This is from the New York Post. CAIR has been sending $1,000 checks to riotous students for causing mayhem on college campuses. What? So the riots, we're now finding that some of these riots that have taken place on campuses could largely be funded by CAIR. Should there not be an investigation into this then?
Absolutely. I mean, isn't that the same thing as having Soros fund Antifa? Isn't that the same thing? And then what happened? We saw a rising in riots, violent riots take place across the nation in specific states, and we had to send in the National Guard to handle that, right? So, obviously not them specifically, but handling, protecting of the ICE facilities and the ICE proceedings, right? Because that's federal proceedings.
Right.
So if this is currently happening, then yes, we need to, one, hurry up and name the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization, but also CAIR, because CAIR is literally funding the Muslim Brotherhood terrorist organization in order for them to disrupt the public. Like, we can't do this.
CAIR is not sounding very caring right now. And that's my 2 cents. That's my comedic timing for the day. So guys, we only bring this to you because we want you to understand when other news media organizations talk about CAIR, C-A-I-R, what they're referring to is now an organization that we know has fed money to help riots outburst on our campuses across the country. So think twice about thinking of them as some kind of a midline moderate organization.
Right. And they're taking over what's going on here in Florida, too. I mean, there's a lot of things that are connected with CAIR in Florida and our education voucher system, our ESAs, our education savings accounts. And what's going on in Texas as well. So these are unintended consequences for that. So just keep an eye out and petition your government like we're supposed to.
Absolutely, absolutely. One last story before we go to commercial break. The Agricultural Secretary Rollins, she's referring now, Allie, back to the SNAP program. We saw during the government shutdown, during the Schumer siesta, how people were really upset that the SNAP program was going to be largely underfunded or unfunded. And then that caused the ability to see how many illegals are participating on this taxpayer-funded program. As we brought the SNAP benefits back, you and I were asking the question, please don't tell me they're just going to open the floodgates and let everything continue as normal. I hope somebody is going through and going, these people should either have to reapply or look at who's getting these benefits. That's exactly what's happening. Take a look at Rollins.
Hey, I have a handy dandy chart. I was getting to the affordability piece of SNAP. Almost 40% increase under Joe Biden of what was spent in the people that entered the food stamp / SNAP program. That's 40%. Of course, they were working to buy the election. But what we have seen and what Doge and our amazing team at USDA, 186,000 dead people are receiving SNAP benefits. 500,000 people are getting paid twice. We've made hundreds of arrests. We have a lot more to do. But this was, I think, an unintended consequence of the Democrats shutting the government down for 43 days, is it shined this very bright light on one of their pet programs and now has given us a platform to completely deconstruct the program, make sure those vulnerable Americans who really need that benefit are going to get it. And for all the rest of the fraudsters and the people who are corrupt and taking advantage of it, we're going to protect the taxpayer too.
Good.
Protecting the taxpayer.
So you see, this like whole thing reminds me of like, you know, when the enemy has something for evil, he does something to prepare for evil, to use it for evil, and the Lord uses it for good. That's exactly what this was.
Yes.
So this whole
Revelations.
shutdown that the Democrats decided to push and hold over the American people actually did them a very strong disservice because it shed a light on the corruption that was the SNAP federal benefits.
Absolutely, Allie. Absolutely. And I'm grateful because we have to look out for our interests here in this country when it comes to where our tax dollars are going. This should be the number one platform on any conservative. You should be fiscally conservative, not just conservative in ideology, but conservative in fiscal responsibility. So grateful to see that happening. We'll keep you posted on what the SNAP benefits look like going forward, and I'm sure the left will have a few talking points of their own. We're going to take a quick commercial break. That way you guys can get your Liberty cigars ahead of the holiday season to give out to your favorite person. We'll be right back with more Open Mic with Allie and Michelle in a moment.
From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OpenMic for 10% off your order.
Gold IRA companies are a dime a dozen, especially in conservative media. We vetted out 34 companies and chose Augusta Precious Metals.
With the lowest across-the-board spreads in the gold IRA industry, Augusta saves Americans thousands of dollars.
They are the only major gold IRA company that has zero complaints from their customers. Zero. None.
Augusta Precious Metals does not have commissioned sales reps, which means their goals are aligned with yours.
They were the only gold IRA company that demonstrated integrity and transparency without using gimmicks.
The informative one-on-one web conferences by Augusta Precious Metals answer all of their customers' questions before they make a move.
If you're ready to learn about protecting your wealth and retirement with gold and silver, request your free gold guide from Augusta Precious Metals today.
Visit patriot.tv/gold. That's patriot.tv/gold today.
sorry, dancing. Welcome back to Open Mic with Ali and Michelle. Guys, thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. We're halfway there. We're halfway through the week. And I thought, you know, when with Trump elected, sometimes I think, Ali, people like you and I, we think that we can maybe soften up or let our guard down just a little bit.
Right.
And then Tuesday night happens. You're like, what the hell did I just witness?
It's wild.
It was wild. It was wild. Let's ease our viewers into it. We've got largely one topic we're covering over this next half hour, guys, so stay with us. There's a vote to, Trump says, release the Kraken, right? Go ahead and release the Epstein files. Largely, they're already released. I don't know what new stuff this is going to put forward, but
right, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I can understand why there is a public push for this. Obviously, we have this giant, the largest human slavery, sex trafficking ring that I think Americans have ever known about, with many victims, and they just want justice, right? And I can totally understand that. But I feel like the way President Trump is feeling, and essentially what he was saying then, and kind of what he's saying now, is it's just a way for Democrats, because they've had all of this information, and it's just a way for Democrats to almost want to undermine the goodness that has occurred over the last 9 months of President Trump's second term. He has ended almost 9 wars now. He's like teetering on the 9th one, trying to figure out what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. He's boosted our economy. He's back doing trades to benefit America. Americans are doing better than what they have been. He's delivering on a lot of the promises that he made. I mean, we're dissolving the Department of Education. We have better gas prices. I mean, there are some other things that we're struggling with. There hasn't been really much accountability, but that's because Republicans can't get their heads out their ass. So it's just it's a way for them to almost leverage and to like just say that we can't have all the winning, because they want to hold that, and that they want to keep
largely,
America under the boot.
Why I love what Trump is doing, and yes, they voted and they are going to release the Epstein files. What I love about this is that all people were asking is take the wind out from under their sails. For everybody that thinks that there's something here that's incriminating to Trump, take the wind out of their sails. Let's largely see it. What you got, just see it. And I think that's one argument. I want to make sure that our viewers understand that that's happening. That's coming to fruition. You'll see whatever other documents there are. Here is the issue that I think Ali and I got stuck on last night, and we want to help you guys get full circle on this.
Yeah.
There is a member of the House on the Democrat side. Her name is Stacey Plaskett. She was, take a look at this. The House Republicans filed a resolution to censure her. They want to investigate her due to her collusion, air quotes on my part, with Jeffrey Epstein to hurt Donald Trump in 2019. It appeared that she was being coached by Jeffrey Epstein during a public hearing. And so the Republicans said, you know, we want to file a resolution censoring her. So there was going to be a vote yesterday on her censorship, from what I understand. Is that correct, Ali?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
To remove her from the Intelligence Committee.
From the Intelligence Committee, because here's my thing: if you're guilty of colluding with Jeffrey Epstein on things, and what you're texting,
of all things,
when you're at the dais, is open to public record.
Literally a committee meeting.
In a committee meeting, it's a part of public record. So I searched, because I know this wasn't a part of our going back and forth last night. I searched for the video. This is a video that's going to show Democrat Representative Stacey Plaskett sitting at doing her job, really, interviewing Cohen. I think it's Cohen. I think that's his name, Michael Cohen, talking about things with Donald Trump. And Jeffrey Epstein is texting her real time, asking her to ask questions to try to get Trump. Take a look and watch carefully. A 2019 hearing where Michael Cohen was testifying.
This was when Barack Obama was president of the United States. And while we were once driving through a struggling neighborhood in Chicago, he commented that only black people could live that way. Attorney-client privilege, yes, I will turn it over.
You, as my friend Mr. Meadows pointed out, misled this committee even today in a written submission that contradicted your testimony. You have suggested you are going to review that. Did you review? Are you going to review it in our next break to correct the record, yes or no?
Yes.
Question, you helped out the president's campaign or were involved in the campaign as a representative, as a spokesman, even in your words today. It was your idea for the campaign dating back to 2011. Is that accurate, yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Weisenberg and other individuals, Ms. Rona. Who are those individuals? Are they with the Trump organization?
They are.
Are there other people that we should be meeting with?
So Alan Weisselberg is the chief financial officer.
You got to quickly give us as many names as you can so we can get to them.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Ms. Rona, what is Ms. Rona's position?
Rona Graff is Mr. Trump's executive assistant.
And would she be able to corroborate many of the statements that you've made here?
Yes, her office is directly next to his, and she's involved in a lot that went on.
Okay, so just for the record, Ms. Plaskett is also the person who smeared Trump during the Twitter files. She's and falsely accused Matt, I'm going to mispronounce his name, Taibbi? Is that his last name? Anyway, so she's somebody that I think needed to be investigated. I like that they were going to bring the censuring against her. There's only one problem. I almost want to cut to the Bobart video because you found Bobart. While they're trying to investigate Stacey Plaskett and how she was getting these text messages, Lauren Bobart had this to say on Benny Johnson. Play just a portion of it, and then we'll talk about it.
What should happen? What a censure vote is like, what should actually happen to Stacey Plaskett? Should she be criminally investigated?
I absolutely believe she needs to be investigated. The DOJ needs to open a full-fledged investigation into her immediately. And a censure resolution, sure, that is a slap on the wrist. Many use it as a way to raise more money. I don't know if the estate would be donating to her from Jeffrey Epstein here. But really what I want to see from this censure resolution is a removal from those committee assignments. Now, I believe, like I've stood up for colleagues in the past who Democrats wanted to remove from committee. And I said, it's the American people sent them here to represent them, and removing them from a committee removes that representation. But this is a special committee. This is the Intelligence Committee with a special clearance. And I don't think that anyone like that has any business serving on a committee of that level. So I think there needs to be something done there. And absolutely, the DOJ needs to open an investigation into her and the connection that she had with Jeffrey Epstein. This was after he was convicted.
So, and she goes on to say she's trading text messages with him. This is almost 11 years after he was found guilty in the state of Florida for prostitution and other things.
This is absolutely wild. And I agree with Bobart. I agree with her 100%. She's 100% correct.
She's 100% correct.
How are you sitting on the Intelligence Committee and getting text messages real time on how to coach someone from someone who
and is it collusion? I think is interesting. So the rest of this story really, guys, is two parts. It's the battle that the Democrats put up in trying to delay this vote and the shenanigans and some of their arguments they made almost in defense of Jeffrey Epstein. And then the second part, which we'll get to in a moment, is really who they hung out to dry to sort of make a backroom deal. Take a listen to the House Minority Representative for the Democrats, Catherine Clark. Here she is basically saying why she's against this censuring. Take a listen.
Victims of Jeffrey Epstein to have justice and transparency. And not minutes later, the gentleman from South Carolina is filing yet another partisan resolution. I ask all of my colleagues to support this motion to refer this to the Ethics Committee, and I yield back my time.
So she's saying there, you can bring it back, Krista, that she doesn't want to have a vote on the floor for censoring. She wants to move it to the ethics committee, which we've seen things die, a bad death there. So that doesn't look very good on the Democrats, really, that they don't want just total exposure here.
Right. And that points to a bigger problem. Why don't they want total exposure? See, people are not asking the right questions. They're not asking the pertinent question. Who benefits from this not moving forward? Who is being sacrificed? What is the narrative being spun? But what is the truth? What is the truth behind it? Why do they not want override accountability for this?
Absolutely. And Representative Jamie Raskin from the Democrats, he goes on to justify basically what Stacey Plaskett did by colluding with Jeffrey Epstein. Take a listen.
Well, they want to give them another headline, which is that they've arraigned a Democratic member for taking a phone call from her constituent, Jeffrey Epstein, in the middle of a hearing. And of course, I don't think there's any rule here against taking phone calls in a hearing.
But if it was
American people,
if it was
that a phone call from a constituent, or was it text messaging that led to questions being asked because she can't competently do her own job by a convicted felon for 11 years in her jurisdiction?
How is this any different than an auto pen? How is this any different than somebody giving questions or answers to Kamala in her ear while she's doing a debate? How is it any different?
How is it any different than building
explain.
a little Tykes Oval Office so Biden really thinks that he's in charge?
Like, they're really counting on you being stupid and running with a narrative that is being out there right now. That is not about the actual issue.
Well, we're going to just air out a little bit more dirty laundry while we can, because this is an actual email where Hakeem Jeffries, remember him? He was the co-conspirator for the Schumer shutdown. This is an email where his team, Hakeem Jeffries, solicited campaign money from Jeffrey Epstein through a fundraising friendly dinner. This is dated in 2013. Guess what, guys? That's still 5 years after we knew that Epstein was convicted here in the state of Florida for doing inappropriate things, largely among other things, prostitution and soliciting of prostitution from someone under the age of 18. They don't seem to care too much about their ethics when it comes to padding their wallet. This is crazy. This is crazy. And I wish I could look our viewers in the face and say this isn't the country which we reside and the party of the Democrats, but it is. It is.
I'm livid, and I think there are a lot of people that kind of feel this way. We have people that are essentially putting a stop loss on accountability. We still have a DOJ that has not arrested anybody for the collusion of Russia, right? We have not arrested anybody related to January 6th committee. We have not arrested there are a lot of things that we still don't have, and yet we're playing these political chess games instead of actually standing on principle and doing what is right.
Amen.
Principally.
And you have to understand, and I think our American people our viewers do understand, when you think of your work week, Monday through Friday, and you think of the amount of hours that you spend. I know some of you out there are retired, but think back to when, whether you were working in a factory, school teachers, trades. Think about the level of work that you put into an 8, 9, 10-hour workday. And think of how that racks up from Monday through Friday. And think about how you reflect back on that week and not only look at what you've accomplished, but what you had to hustle for just to put food on the table for your family.
Right.
Our representatives in Washington, D.C. and in your state capital largely are responsible to do the same thing. And when you see how little it feels like, I don't want an email from Cash Bongino. I know you're working. I'm saying it's frustrating that it doesn't feel like it's moving the needle because we're largely not seeing any of the accountability portion. I'm told it's coming, but
I don't see it. I only see it for our side. And it's not even true accountability if it's happening on the Republican side. And then I don't want to skip ahead, but
oh, we're getting there. I just want to tie up with a nice bow. This is Speaker Mike Johnson, who is basically stating what we just stated, but let's hear from the Speaker.
It is the Democrats have done this right now, have to look at the obvious facts. The Democrats had all the Epstein files in their possession for 4 long years under the Biden presidency. The Biden Department of Justice had these files, and no one on this side who is breathless today about the urgency of this release ever said a word about it. And it was the Democrats who could have urged President Biden's Department of Justice to go beyond prosecuting just Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, but they didn't do it. And so it's a fair question to ask today, why now? Why the sudden urgent interest in Jeffrey Epstein? Look, we know why. It's because the Democrats were never interested in transparency or executing justice or protecting the victims of this unspeakable tragedy before. The simple truth is obvious for everybody to see. This is a political exercise for Democrats, and it pains me to say it. I wish that was not the truth, but it is, and it's undeniable. This is as deceitful and dishonest as their pointless stunt was to shut the government down. Democrats are using the Epstein tragedy.
Okay, so you got it, right? Biden had access to the same documents if largely Trump was implicated anyway, or any Republican of stature, wouldn't they have already put it out there? So I think we're getting to the juicy part here. They moved to vote on censoring Stacey Plaskett. And I know what you're thinking, right? Because we have the House that the censoring was going to happen. Take a look at the screenshot. This is the vote. I'm sorry, Allie, I could be corrected. This could be the vote to release the Epstein files themselves. I'm just getting word. So, okay, we'll pull that down for now. Bottom line is, I want to make sure we show the right graphic. And that was not, I think I clipped the wrong graphic. But what I want to get to is that it did not pass. It did not pass to censor Plaskett. And Allie, I know we both have some really strong feelings on why. But before we talk about that, I do want to let our viewers know there were 2 Republicans who voted not present, or who just voted present, sorry, which is not a yes or no vote. Did you know they can do that, first of all? We've got Michael Rulli from Ohio's 6th District and Steve Womack from Arkansas's 3rd District as Republicans who did not vote, just voted present. And we have one representative on the Republican side who voted no. What skeletons are in his closet? Clay Higgins from Louisiana's 3rd District. So, Allie, tell us a little bit more about this story, because really you've had a deep dive into this.
I kind of just want to know what ties do they have to Epstein? Because that's where my mind goes. If you're voting against the censorship of someone who clearly needs to be censured, she literally was being coached to ask questions specifically about who she was talking to, real time, from a constituent, whether he is or isn't, or even if he is. She's not doing that with any other constituent. She's doing it with Epstein. And that leads to huge implications. It's just the tip of the iceberg. So if she's censured and moves out of this committee, the Intelligence Committee, which is where she needs to be, she does not need to be there. She needs to be removed. It almost seems like there was like a quid pro quo that happened between Democrats and Republicans, unbeknownst to the Republican, the most conservative Republican, by the way, in the House of Representatives. Unbeknownst to him.
Which is largely what is being reported, Allie, is that this is being now, there is a narrative that's being pushed that is saying, listen, there was a backdoor deal made, behind closed doors where the sausage is made, so to speak, that Plaskett would not get censured if they wouldn't censure Republican Corey Mills.
Right.
And that is not, there's 2 things that I take issue with that, and then I'll give you the floor. My issue is Plaskett has spoken about this censorship and how she feels it's unjust. Nobody's gotten Corey Mills on the record to hear. Did he want to not be censored? Maybe he wanted the right to go through that process and expose things, because largely innocent people don't mind that happening. They actually like it. That's the first thing that bothers me. And the second thing that bothers me about this, Allie, is that really you should want to push to have censoring on both sides of the aisle if it's wrong, if it's something that there's nothing there. Plaskett, the reason why she doesn't want this is because she doesn't want a huge ethics investigation into what she's done.
There will be an ethics investigation.
We just clipped at the knees Corey Mills' ability to do the same thing. And he voted for the censoring.
For the censorship. He voted for her. And so he wasn't in on it. And it wasn't like they were essentially protecting him. That's the wrong narrative. That's the narrative they want you to see. That's the here, look over here, don't pay attention to what we actually did.
So what do we say, Allie? What do we say to people like, okay, Nancy Mace? A lot of things I agree with Nancy Mace on. But I know she stood on the House floor last night and, again, brought up Corey Mills' name and how she wants to do all these things. Nancy Mace is a survivor of, she's a survivor of being raped and other things. She should want to move this forward regarding Epstein and not change the conversation. I don't understand what that was about.
Honestly, I don't understand what it was about either. And I think it took away from what the actual purpose of yesterday was for. And that was my issue with it. And it's almost like proverbially she handed the Democrats a loaded gun and they used it. It's like, you know what I'm saying? And that's what the Republicans really were, the three that voted or didn't vote, or one voted and one was absent and one didn't vote. They were essentially saying, which why I don't understand, but they're essentially saying that, if we continue to use this censorship, which is really just a slap on the wrist.
Yes.
It's not it's really theater. It's political theater is what it is. It takes away from the narrative and it takes away from what is actually going on. So if they're afraid that which is the biggest word, they're afraid that if the Democrats use the censorship or the Republicans use the censorship, the Democrats are going to come back and wield it as a weapon to use it against Republicans. But if you don't have anything to hide and you are really standing on principle, then it does not matter. What this actually is, what this actually is, and what the narrative that needs to be talked about, which is the truth, is this isn't about one member. This isn't about the Republican. This isn't about Mills. This is about protecting the information related to Epstein and those connected to him. It is about protecting Plaskett. That is what happened last night. It is about the failure of the Republican Party to come together to actually hand out accountability, which is what the American people voted for overwhelmingly November 5th. That is what this is.
Because potentially it doesn't look good to some Republicans who probably don't want Plaskett investigated, because where would those tentacles reach? Could they reach across the aisle? So I just think we asked the question, was Corey Mills and putting him in on this idea that there was a deal made, is that really just going to become this new poster child for protecting people on both sides of the aisle who did not want Plaskett to be investigated? I think Representative from Florida, Paulina Luna, said it really, really well. Take a listen to her.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from Florida seek recognition?
I have a parliamentary inquiry.
The gentlelady from Florida will state her inquiry.
I was wondering if the Speaker of the House of Representatives can explain why leadership on both sides, both Democrat and Republican, are cutting back-end deals to cover up public corruption in the House of Representatives from both Republican and Democrat members of Congress.
The gentlelady has not stated a proper parliamentary inquiry.
Thank you very much, but I think the American people know what happened tonight.
Oh, somebody get her good security.
I like that she did this because she put it on blast.
And it's on the record.
It is on the record.
It's on congressional record.
It's on the congressional record that leadership on both sides worked to cover up Epstein and Plaskett.
Absolutely.
And those connected to that story. This isn't about, you have to ask the question, who best benefits? And it's not Mills. He's being used as cannon fodder, and it's disgusting. But
go ahead.
there's also, Nancy is still going forward with her censorship of him, which fine, do that if that's how you feel. But he's already got the ethics committee investigating him. It's already been there for 2 years. Nothing has come of it. They haven't found anything. Because if they did, they would have come out and said it already. So we're wasting our time. We have so much that we need to accomplish. We're wasting our time. It's like, it's frustrating.
Well, and listen, I just want to leave us on this final note because this isn't the first time that we've seen shady dealings from people that are supposed to be elected to represent us. John Ratcliffe, the CIA director, just want to remind people, because we're going to show you a little clip, just looking at other ways that collusion has happened in our government. We're not new to it. We're just aware of it. Under oath, Lisa Page, of course, going back to the Russia hoax stuff, Lisa Page admitted that under oath, she admitted that the Obama DOJ ordered the FBI not to charge Hillary Clinton, even after gross negligence with classified material. Lots of times that they've given those that are elected to represent us two-tier justice system. What happens for us can't happen for them. Take a quick listen to this report from Brett Beer, and then we'll close it out. Take a listen.
About what the Obama Justice Department ordered federal lawyers to do and not to do concerning the Hillary Clinton email investigation. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge tells us in sworn testimony on Capitol Hill, one of the insiders told lawmakers what she was told.
During closed-door testimony last summer, former FBI lawyer Lisa Page said the Obama administration's Justice Department advised the FBI not to pursue the gross negligence statute for Hillary Clinton in the mishandling of classified information. Former U.S. Attorney and House Republican John Ratcliffe led the line of questioning about the statute, known as 18 U.S.C. 793. Ratcliffe, you're making it sound like it was the department that told you you're not going to charge gross negligence because we're the prosecutors. Page interrupted. That is correct. Page's testimony appears to conflict with then FBI Director James Comey's recommendation in July 2016 against criminal charges for Clinton.
What I can assure the American people is that this investigation was done honestly, competently, and independently. No outside influence of any kind was brought to bear.
The Republican-led House Oversight and Judiciary Committee investigation ended in January. With Democrats now in control, the committee's new ranking Republican made the Page transcript public.
The transcript releases show an inherent two-tier system, one in which Hillary Clinton gets the treatment that she got, where there was actually at first concern that they were going to charge her, and then with Loretta Lynch in charge, before she recused herself, made it very clear that that was not going to happen.
The tip-off came from a chart drawn up by federal investigators.
We need to understand this is not the first time that these type of shenanigans have happened. We're just largely aware of it now, Allie. And so if you're wondering the way things are reported, if you need a different perspective on how to think things through or what that critical thinking even looks like live, we're happy to be here for you guys to help you understand what's happening. Do not just take the headlines and clip it and share it, because there's a story behind here.
You have to look deeper, look deeper, look deeper. That is the whole point of our show, is look beyond the narrative. That is the distraction. And always ask the question, who best benefits? Who is being protected honestly, and who is being sacrificed? That is always, you will always find the truth when you ask those three questions. And when you realize that the Clintons are connected to Epstein and their reach goes far and wide on both sides, you'll understand what is truly going on right now. You will really understand.
Absolutely.
And the people that you think are on the right ends of things may not really be on the right ends of things. Just pointing it out. All right,
as we said yesterday at the school board meeting, we call balls and strikes on both sides of the aisle. So keep it locked here to Open Mic Ladies. If you're not already, make sure you follow at Real Allie Leger, at Michelle Posey, and at Open Mic Ladies on all platforms. Allie, that's it for us today. We made it through Wednesday.
We love y'all, and stay above the propaganda, y'all. My God.
Absolutely.
I'm done for the day. I quit. Nothing.
We love you guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Keep the mic open.
Bye.
Is high, inflation's up in the sky.